There's something simple sitting on your kitchen counter right now. You walk past it every day. You reach for it without thinking. It doesn't come in a fancy bottle. It doesn't have a brand name or a prescription label, but it just might be the one thing your body's been silently asking for: water. Now, before you click away thinking, what could water possibly have to do with my erections? Let me ask you this. Have you been feeling a little off lately? A bit more tired than usual? Less interested in intimacy? Or maybe you've noticed your energy fading, your focus slipping, your confidence dipping, and you're wondering if it's just age. What if I told you that one of the most overlooked reasons for all of that, especially your performance as a man, might come down to how you drink water? Not just how much, but how, when, even the temperature. You see, I've spent years talking with men in their 40s, 50s, 60s, and beyond. Men who've tried pills, supplements, even therapy, all while ignoring one of the most basic building blocks of their biology. And I've also seen what happens when they begin making small, intentional changes, not just in what they put into their bodies, but how they relate to it. In today's video, we're going to dive into 7 powerful science-backed ways to use water. Yes, plain, ordinary water to improve your blood flow, support your testosterone levels, and revive your sexual energy from the inside out. Some of these may surprise you. Some may feel so obvious, you'll wonder why no one ever told you before. And 1 or 2 might just shift the way you care for your body entirely. Because when it comes to erections, vitality, and confidence, it's not always about adding more. Sometimes it's about going back to what your body was asking for all along. Let's begin. Most men think erections begin in the bedroom. But the truth is, they begin much earlier in your bloodstream. You see, an erection isn't just about desire or stimulation. It's a hydraulic event, a moment when blood is pushed into the vessels of the penis and held there with enough pressure to create firmness. That's it. No blood, no erection. It's really that simple. And here's where water comes in. Your blood is more than just red cells and oxygen. It's a fluid, and that fluid is made mostly of water. When you're properly hydrated, your blood flows more freely. It's thinner, smoother, and your heart doesn't have to work as hard to circulate it. That means oxygen and nutrients are delivered more efficiently, including to the very vessels that fill during arousal. But when you're dehydrated even slightly, your blood becomes thicker, heavier, slower. The pressure drops, circulation weakens, and suddenly your body can't do something it was designed to do, not because it's broken, but because it's thirsty. Let me tell you about David. He's 57, runs a small landscaping business, and spends most of his day outdoors. For months, he felt sluggish. He blamed the heat, the stress, even his age. His erections weren't as firm. He started avoiding intimacy not because he didn't want it, but because he didn't trust his body to show up. When he finally spoke with his doctor, they ran every test. Heart was strong. Hormones were okay. And then the doctor asked a simple question. How much water are you drinking each day? David paused. I guess, maybe 3 cups. I drink more coffee than water. That one change, swapping some of that coffee for steady hydration, made a bigger difference than any pill he'd tried before. Within 2 weeks, his energy picked up. Within a month, he told me it felt like my body finally started saying yes again. It wasn't magic. It was circulation. And circulation needs water. So, before you start worrying about complex solutions, take a step back and ask yourself the same question. Are you giving your body what it needs to move blood, to move life where it's needed most? Because sometimes strength doesn't start with effort. It starts with flow. And if blood flow is the foundation of arousal, then hormones are the fire behind it. In the next part, we'll explore how staying hydrated affects one of the most important chemicals in a man's body, testosterone, and why a thirsty body might be sending your hormones out of balance without you even knowing it. Let's keep going. Now let's talk about something a little more hidden, something you can't see or touch, but you feel it every single day. Testosterone. It's the hormone that makes you feel like you. It fuels your drive, your strength, your confidence, your edge. And when it drops even just a little, you notice. You feel slower, softer, less like the man you remember. What many men don't realize is how sensitive testosterone is to stress and how hydration plays a quiet, powerful role in that balance. Here's what happens. When your body is dehydrated, it doesn't panic, but it does shift into survival mode. It starts prioritizing. What's essential? Keeping your blood pressure stable, regulating your temperature, protecting your brain and heart. What's not essential, at least in the short term, your reproductive system. The body starts redirecting resources away from testosterone production because, in its view, reproduction isn't urgent when you're in a state of internal drought. And it doesn't stop there. Dehydration raises your cortisol levels. That's your main stress hormone. And here's the catch: when cortisol goes up, testosterone goes down. Like a seesaw. One rises, the other falls. Let me tell you about Jerome. He's 49, works in finance, lives a fast-paced life. When he came in for help, he was convinced his testosterone had crashed. He felt exhausted by mid-morning. His workouts weren't doing anything. He hadn't felt sexually motivated in weeks. He was sure he needed supplements, or maybe hormone therapy. But before anything else, we looked at his basic habits. 5 coffees a day, no real meals, little sleep, and when I asked about water, he laughed. Does sparkling count? We started small. A water tracker app, a refillable bottle, 1 glass first thing every morning before coffee. Within 10 days, he said he was waking up with energy again. His moods felt lighter. His libido was coming back online. And no, we never touched a testosterone booster. Because sometimes your body doesn't need more chemicals. It needs permission to work again. And hydration is part of that permission. The liver and kidneys, the organs that help regulate hormone levels, can't do their job if they're overworked and underhydrated. So, when you're feeling off, before you assume it's age or decline or stress, ask yourself, is my body simply running on low fluid? The lesson is simple. Hormones don't work well in drought, but they respond quickly when balance returns. And if you're wondering how to actually build that balance, not just what you drink, but how the next part might surprise you. Because believe it or not, the way you drink water can either help your body absorb it or waste it. Let's take a closer look. By now, you probably agree drinking water matters. But here's something most people never think about. How you drink it is just as important as how much you drink, because your body, as incredible as it is, can only absorb so much at once. Pour in too much too fast, and it simply pushes the excess out. Straight through. No real benefit. Think of it like watering dry soil. If you dump a whole bucket on hard earth, most of it runs off the top. But if you drizzle it gently, little by little, the ground softens. The water seeps in. Nourishment reaches the roots. Your body works the same way. Let me tell you about Adam. He's 54, works construction big frame used to sweating through his shirt before noon. He thought he was staying hydrated, chugging 2 full liters of water during lunch break every day. But he still felt tired, dizzy sometimes. His skin looked dry, and his erections weak and inconsistent. When he mentioned this to his GP, they didn't change his routine. They just changed how he drank. Instead of guzzling 2 liters at once, he switched to sipping a little every hour, starting from the moment he woke up. No more waterlogged belly, no more afternoon crashes. And within weeks, he noticed something surprising. More stable energy, fewer headaches, and a steady return of morning erections, something he hadn't experienced in over a year. The water didn't change, but the rhythm did. You see, your cells absorb water best when it comes gradually in partnership with your body's natural pace. That means sipping throughout the day, letting it flow in, not flood in. The lesson here. More doesn't always mean better. Sometimes slow and steady isn't just gentle, it's smart. And speaking of timing, there's another part of this that can have a big impact. Because not all hours in the day are equal. And when you drink water, not just how can either help your body or work against it. Let's explore that next. You've probably heard the saying, timing is everything. Well, when it comes to hydration and your sexual health, that's not just a saying. It's a truth your body lives by. Because not all water is equal, and not all moments are equal either. Let's start with something simple. Late-night drinking. Now, I'm not talking about alcohol, I mean water right before bed. Many men make this mistake. You finish dinner, realize you haven't drunk enough all day, and you down a full bottle just before lights out. But here's what happens next. You wake up once, then twice, maybe more. Trips to the bathroom, interrupted sleep, restless tossing, and that broken sleep. It comes with a cost. You see, your body produces the majority of its testosterone during deep sleep, especially in the early hours of the night. Disrupt that cycle, and you don't just lose rest, you lose the hormonal fuel that drives your desire, your strength, your recovery. Let me tell you about Than. He's 61, still sharp, still strong, still running his small family shop in the mornings. But he was waking up, tired, groggy, and disconnected from his usual rhythm. He thought it was age catching up, but after a casual chat with his doctor, they discovered something simple. He was drinking nearly a liter of water after dinner every night. It was keeping him up with 2 or 3 bathroom trips. They adjusted, the timing shifted most of his hydration to earlier in the day, stopped water after 8 p.m. The difference? He said it was like getting his mornings back. But nighttime isn't the only time that matters. Another moment to avoid. Right after meals. Drinking too much water right after eating can dilute your stomach acid, the very thing your body needs to digest food, absorb nutrients, and keep your gut in balance. That means slower digestion, bloating, and even reduced absorption of the very minerals that help with circulation and hormone balance. Then there's fruit. We often eat water-rich fruits like watermelon or oranges, and then top it off with a glass of water. But that can flood your digestive system, especially if your metabolism is already slower with age. The result: fermentation, gas, discomfort, and a sluggish system isn't one that supports sexual energy. So, what's the better way? Hydrate before meals. Pause at night. Let fruits do their job without overload. And make mornings your best friend. That first glass of water, the one you drink within 10 or 15 minutes of waking up, it's not just refreshing. It jumpstarts your metabolism, flushes toxins, rehydrates every cell. It's the quiet engine behind clearer thinking, better digestion, and stronger performance. The lesson here: water is like sunlight. It works best when it moves with the rhythm of your day, not against it. And now that you know when to drink, let's talk about how you drink, not just speed or schedule, but posture, intention, and even the chemistry that starts in your mouth. Because in the next part, you'll discover why sitting down, sipping slowly, and even savoring your water can make a surprising difference. Let's keep going. There's something beautifully simple about sitting down for a drink of water. No rush, no noise, just a quiet pause in the middle of your day. But in our modern world, we've forgotten how to drink water with intention. We grab a bottle on the go. We gulp between meetings. We barely taste it before it's gone. But what if that tiny moment, the way you drink water, could change how your body uses it? This idea isn't new. In fact, it comes from a very old tradition, Ayurveda, the ancient system of medicine from India. And what it teaches is surprisingly practical. Start by sitting down. It sounds almost silly, doesn't it? But when you're seated, your body is more relaxed. Your nervous system shifts into a calmer state. Digestion improves. Absorption improves. And when your body isn't bracing for movement, it's more prepared to receive and process what you give it, including water. Then there's how you sip. Not chug, not gulp. Sip. Let the water rest in your mouth for a moment. Let it mix with your saliva. Because believe it or not, saliva isn't just spit. It's the start of digestion. It's alkaline. It signals your stomach to prepare. And when water is mixed with saliva, it's absorbed more efficiently, more gently, more completely. Let me tell you about Ray. Ray is 65, a retired teacher, quiet, thoughtful. He came across a video about mindful hydration and decided to give it a try. He began sitting down for every glass. No distractions, no scrolling, just him and the water. He'd take small sips, hold them in his mouth, breathe between each one. And over time, he noticed something unexpected. His bloating went away. His bathroom trips normalized. And most surprising of all, he felt more connected to his body. He said, "It was like I stopped treating water like fuel and started treating it like medicine." And that's exactly what it can be when used with care. The lesson: water isn't just something to get through. It's something to get into. Slow down. Sit. Sip. Let your body take it in the way it was designed to. Because when we return to these small rituals, we create big ripples in how we feel, how we digest, how we circulate, how we perform. And speaking of performance, there's one more element you may not have considered, something that seems minor, but quietly shapes how your body processes every drop of water you drink. It's not about how fast or how much. It's about temperature. Let's explore why the warmth or chill in your glass may be telling your body more than you think. Let's talk about something most of us never question. You open the fridge, grab a cold bottle of water, twist the cap, and take a long, refreshing sip. It feels good, right? Especially on a hot day, nothing seems more satisfying than a blast of ice-cold water. But here's what your body might be whispering back. That cold might be refreshing for your mouth, but not always for your system. You see, when you drink ice-cold water, your body doesn't just accept it. It has to work to bring that water up to internal body temperature. And that means using energy, the very energy it could be using to digest food, regulate hormones, or maintain blood flow. Cold water also causes your blood vessels to constrict even just slightly. And that includes the tiny vessels responsible for sending blood to, well, important areas. Areas that need expansion, not tightening to function at their best. Let me tell you about Henry. He's 60 lives in Queensland, where the summers are hot and humid. He was in the habit of drinking nothing but ice-cold water, especially after working outside. But he started to notice a strange pattern. After meals, he'd feel bloated, sometimes even a little nauseous. And though he had a healthy libido, he said his erections felt slower, like something wasn't fully responding. A nutritionist asked him to try one simple experiment. Switch to room temperature water, or even slightly warm, especially in the mornings and after meals. He was skeptical, but within 2 weeks, his digestion improved noticeably. He said he felt less clenched, not just in his stomach, but all over, and gradually his erections returned to feeling fuller, stronger, easier. Now, of course, cold water isn't harmful in moderation. A glass after a workout. Fine. But if you're drinking icy water throughout the day, especially during meals or first thing in the morning, it might be quietly putting stress on your system. The lesson: your body isn't a machine. It's a living rhythm, and the more gently you support it, the more fully it responds. So, next time you reach for a drink, just pause. Let it sit. Let it warm slightly in your hand. And let your body take it in without resistance. Because the more ease you give your system, the more ease it gives you in return. Now, hydration doesn't only come from what you drink. It also comes beautifully and naturally from what you eat. And in the next part, we'll explore how certain water-rich foods can nourish your body from the inside out, and why eating your water might be just as important as drinking it. Let's take a look. By now, we've talked a lot about drinking water. But here's something most people overlook. You don't always have to drink your water. Sometimes you can eat it. That's right. Many of the foods you already know and enjoy are packed with water. And in some cases, your body may even absorb that water more gently, more effectively, and more slowly, which is exactly what it needs. Let me explain. When you eat water-rich foods like cucumbers, watermelon, oranges, leafy greens, you're not just getting hydration, you're getting it wrapped in fiber balanced with minerals and released over time as your body digests. That means better hydration, better digestion, and more stable energy throughout the day. Let me tell you about Min. He's 58, a semi-retired tour guide with a love for street food and afternoon naps. He had been struggling with occasional lightheadedness, dry skin, and low libido despite drinking what he thought was plenty of water. His doctor suggested something simple. Add more hydrating foods into his meals, fresh papaya at breakfast, a side of cucumber and mint at lunch, and steamed spinach in the evening. He didn't change anything else, but over the next month, he said something unexpected. "I feel smoother," he laughed. "Like my body isn't clunky anymore." Turns out those quiet shifts water-rich foods spread through the day gave his system what pure water alone couldn't: hydration with staying power. So, if you're someone who forgets to drink water regularly, or you find it hard to gulp down glass after glass, this is a gentle alternative. Let your meals become your hydration. Choose fruits with high water content. Steam your vegetables lightly instead of frying them. Add soups and broths where you can. These little things add up. Quietly, kindly. The lesson: hydration isn't just a task, it's a lifestyle. It's a rhythm of nourishment through what you sip and what you savor. And now that you've learned how hydration touches nearly every part of your vitality, from blood flow to hormone balance, from digestion to erections, you might start to see that every time you reach for water, you're doing something powerful, something intentional, something that supports not just your sexual health but your confidence, your presence, your strength. In just a moment, we'll bring it all together. But first, take a breath. Let your body notice what it's heard. And let's close this journey the way we started, with clarity, connection, and a little more care for the man you already are. So here we are. You've just spent time learning not about magic pills or extreme routines, but about something far more ordinary and far more powerful. Water. Not just how much you drink, but how you drink. When you drink. What temperature you choose. Whether you sip or gulp, sit or stand, rush or pause. Even the foods you eat and how they quietly help your body rehydrate, drop by drop, moment by moment. And through it all, there's been one simple truth. Your sexual health, your vitality, your confidence, your ability to show up fully as a man is not built on grand gestures. It's built on quiet, repeated acts of care, like a glass of water at sunrise, like choosing to sip instead of chug, like listening to what your body needs before it cries out for help. Let me tell you something I've learned from every man I've spoken to on this journey. Change doesn't always start with struggle. Sometimes it begins with awareness, and then one small step. A bottle placed by your bedside. A moment to sit before you drink. A fruit you choose in place of a processed snack. A decision to care gently, consistently, patiently. And little by little, those steps begin to ripple outward. You feel more focused, more energized, more connected to your partner and to yourself. The lesson: you're not broken. You're not behind. You're not too old, too late, or too far gone. You're human. And your body, like the rest of you, just needs to be remembered, supported, nourished, respected. So, if today's video gave you something to think about, let that thought turn into action. Pick one tip, just one, and try it for a week. Then see what happens. Because sometimes the most powerful shift begins with the quietest change. Thank you for spending this time with me. And remember, stay hydrated, stay present, and stay kind to yourself. You're worth it.